Hawkins. I'm reporting live from the GEE20.ca news team. We are about to leave to go to a press conference that the Toronto Community Mobilization Network is holding in front of the police headquarters at 40 College Street to discuss and talk about some of the police harassment and illegal searches that some of the activists and regular citizens of Toronto have been experiencing over the last few days.
No. If you don't have to tell a police officer your name, you don't have to have ID, I understand that, but also if they ask you what your name is, you are under no legal obligation to tell them, not unless you're under arrest.
And if I could just finish,
or if you're being issued a ticket, and this is where Peter acted properly. Once he was issued a ticket, he identified himself. But we're not talking about cases where people are being arrested or being ticketed. We're talking about people who are just being harassed.
Today we saw a very exciting, raucous, fun-filled demonstration that was very peaceful, that walked on the streets and showcased its issues. And our strength came from the fact that there were hundreds of us in the streets. Tomorrow, if there are thousands, we are better able to assert ourselves, better able to actually protect ourselves, because the police is not doing so.
Do you condemn acts of violence in protests?
Absolutely. What the police has been doing the last 2 days is violence, and that is what we're condemning. We're here outside the station. What is happening to us is violence. That is what we need to be focusing on. That is the issue of the day. We're talking about people being harassed and the necessity of communities to mobilize, work together, and actually be able to sustain ourselves and be safe, because the police is not doing so.
How are you advising your members to react if they are stopped, as Peter was? Or if they're approached during a protest by police
The advice
officers?
that we've been given to people is to make their non-consent to any illegal searches very clear, to state very loudly and clearly that they do not consent, to respond to demands for ID that we know to be illegal and unlawful with a very polite "no, officer, I don't have to identify myself." And if it continues, we're not telling anyone to physically interfere, but what we're telling to do is document these cases so we can follow up either in the courts or politically to make sure that there is some redress for people. Because unfortunately, the majority of these instances don't result in charges. They don't result in any action that can later be challenged. So we have to think about a way to bring all this together and actually be able to talk about it and challenge it.
The last thing we're going to say is this. What we see, this is not security. Even calling it the G20 security is absolute ridiculous nonsense. The G20 is not here, right? None of these arrests, none of these detentions, none of the police on the streets, none of the fences, none of this is about G20 security. It's about G20 harassment, G20 violence, and the police breaking the laws.